Hello there, and welcome to a PhD Mommy's Mindset. I'm your host, Bree. I'm your bestie who also happens to be your biggest fan. I'm a scientific researcher, an educator, and the famous qualitative storyteller who uses science to give you valuable and useful tools you can use along your journey of discovering, developing, and designing your maximum potential. I believe everyone has a unique and special gift the world needs, and I am here to help you discover and use it. My job is simple. I'm here to help you understand one thing. You have exactly the tools you need to redefine your life and change it to be exactly how you want it to be. Today, I'm going to continue on the second episode of the series, How to Enjoy Life. On the first episode, I introduced you to the book Unf Yourself by Gary Bishop. Now, I love this book. This book has literally changed my life. I decided to use this book as a framework or like a mindset to conduct a personal science experiment on myself. So this entire series, How to Enjoy Life, is going to cover the 9 chapters of the book Unf Yourself. And my goal is to provide you with valuable tools you can add to your toolbox to help create a better system for you and your family. I'm a researcher and I'm also an educator, and I love conducting research. I'm committed to helping you have a sense of self-worth and self-love. As you become better, you inspire those around you to do better. I'm on a mission to create a world in which every human being has the free will to discover, develop, and design a life they can truly enjoy and love. I am a firm believer that children are the future, and we all have a responsibility to help grow a child's imagination. So in chapter 2 of the book Unf Yourself, the title is called I Am Willing. Now, on the first episode, I spoke about the importance of establishing positive self-assertions. And a positive self-assertion is when you state what you are doing as if you are doing and living it right here, right now. Now, you may be somebody who is interested in starting a business. You've never been a business owner before, and you've never even desired to even be one. However, somehow life happened, and now your perception changed. You begin to realize, maybe being a business owner isn't that bad. However, many people fail to create a business because they just simply choose not to create a business. In other words, they were not willing. They were unwilling to do what was required to achieve success. Now, a lot of people know the definition of will, or they have a general concept of will, but what exactly is will? The Merriam-Webster Dictionary has a few definitions for will. Here are the ones I believe are the most relevant. You don't have to agree with the definitions I choose. You can look up definitions yourself. However, a lot of people have some type of general concept of will, so it's not really necessary. But will is defined as it is used to express desire, choice, willingness, consent, or in negative constructions, refusal. Will is used to express capability or sufficiency. Will is used to express determination, insistence, persistence, or willfulness. Now, will is a commonly used term that we use concerning our daily life. I will call you tomorrow. I will let you know later on today. I will not be going with you on this trip. So, will is a choice. Will is a decision. Will is the driver whenever you are executing a task. It is the very thing that was even required when we landed on the moon. Circumstances don't make the man. They only reveal him to himself. Epictetus. I get it. Life can be challenging. Things happen we can't really control. However, regardless of what has happened to us, here's one thing that we can control. We can control what we do whenever things happen. We are the deciding factor, and we are the only one who determines how and what we do whenever we are faced with circumstances in life. Stop blaming luck. Stop blaming other people. Stop pointing to outside influences or circumstances. Here's the thing. The moment you are able to 100%, and I mean 100% fully, accept that you have the life you are willing to tolerate and put up with, that is when you can begin to start taking ownership, and you can use the circumstances in your life as a fuel to rewrite a new story for yourself. Think about all the people that you know in your life who are always complaining about how much they hate their relationship. They swear they're going to end it this time. And what happens? They end up staying in this meaningless relationship with someone and they end up settling. So it's been about almost a year since I lost my best friend. And I was completely devastated. I went through an entire year, basically, of depression because my best friend's death was so tragic and it was so unexpected. I didn't understand, nor was I ever taught how to grieve. And I think it's really sad that schools, they don't even teach students how to grieve. They can teach you reading, writing, arithmetic, and all of that, but they don't teach you how to grieve. Now, whenever you experience grief, or they call it bereavement, it's an unfortunate human experience that we all share. We literally all participate in grief, especially since the COVID pandemic. A lot of people passed away. A lot of people are grieving, yet we are not talking about grief. We tend to ignore grief or pretend it doesn't happen, but here's the thing. Death is something that occurs. Death is real. You cannot control it. You can literally die in 10 seconds. You can die in 10 years. You can die in 10 days, 10 months. You don't know. Now, are you willing to live a life that is going to be completely miserable and then all of a sudden you die? I really hope not. For the past year, I was so miserable. I was grieving because I never really experienced someone really close to me dying, and I didn't know how to navigate life. Then I realized I can't keep living my life like this. I can't continue to feel stuck and just miserable and sad because I miss my best friend. And it's like, of course, I miss him. I mean, that was my other half. We had so many years and years of memories, and I will always miss him. But here's the thing. No matter how many times I cry, no matter how many times I ask God why, no matter how many times I look at old text messages or pictures or whatever, my best friend is not coming back. He is dead. He's gone. And there's nothing that I can do about it. And I mean, that's the reality. So once you accept things for what it is, that's when you can look at yourself in a different light. And that's when you realize you don't have a lot of time to waste. You really never know when it's your time to just be removed from this planet. And you can sit there and you can blame everything around you. You can be the victim and you can continue to live in this state of learned helplessness or self-sabotage or whatever that they call it. Or you can say, no, enough is enough. These circumstances that I'm going through, instead of looking at them as obstacles, I'm going to look at them as opportunities. And I am going to get all of these circumstances and I'm going to use them as a foundation and I'm going to bounce back even more. You can use those circumstances as a step and you can create a more solid foundation in which you can enjoy a life that you love. Now, here's a question. Are you willing? Now, if you are someone who is willing, this means that you are inclined or you are favorably disposed in mind, aka you are ready. When you are willing to do something, those particular tasks, you're done, you're born, you've accepted this choice, this decision without any reluctance. No regret, no remorse, you're ready. So I'm going to ask you, are you willing to enjoy a life you love? If you are willing, and I mean you need to be truly willing to live a life you enjoy, here's one thing. You can't keep blaming everyone. You can't keep blaming your circumstances, your upbringing, what somebody did to you 5 years ago. You can't keep blaming yourself. And a lot of times we like to self-sabotage ourselves because We want people to feel sorry for us. You can't do that. Instead, you have to accept and you need to take ownership that you are currently where you are in life because you made yourself exactly where you are at. You were willing to tolerate, you were willing to accept your life. Because if you were unwilling to live this life, you wouldn't be living your current life. Acceptance is something that a lot of us don't really like. It's really difficult because it requires you to, number one, acknowledge something has changed. It also shows there are a lot of things in life you can't control. Now, the last one that acceptance shows that we really hate is, oops, I made a mistake. Now, because you can't control certain things, you have to realize accepting the concept of acceptance is very important. When you accept things for what they are, those opportunities, they start to give you a new insight. You can recreate and you can form a new foundation and you can come back and you can become more resilient. Now, after you accept things, some people, they'll just accept it and they will continue to live a life that is not fulfilling. They will continue to do the same thing over and over and just loathe in themselves. Or there's some people who say, hey, I understand that there are things beyond my control and it's okay. I am willing to enjoy my life. Now, when you are willing to live a life you enjoy, you have to accept there will be things beyond your control. Are you willing to still live a life you enjoy? I hope so. You might have an excuse and you might say, oh, but I grew up in a neighborhood that didn't teach me what I needed to be successful. Oh, my father wasn't around. Oh, I was made fun of at school. Who cares? Eric Thomas, he lives in abandoned houses. He ate out of trash bags. He's the number one motivational speaker today. LeBron James, Dan Pena, Joe Rogan, what is your excuse? You are your excuse. Here's the thing. When you're willing, and I mean you have to truly 100% be willing to enjoy a life you love, that is when you are ready to enjoy a life you love. Willing means that you have the willingness to change, to accept, to remove, to step out, to cut off, to find, to ignore, to hide, whatever it is, all of these actions that must be required to enjoy life. That means you have to dial it back some, take you out of the equation, and do what is necessary to get the win. Now, when I was an educator, I also was a basketball coach. And if you've played any sport or if you've coached any sport, you know the importance of substitutions. So imagine that you play basketball and your coach subs you out. Now, usually your coach is going to sub you out for a multitude of reasons. Maybe to let somebody else play, maybe because you need a breather, whatever it is. Now, usually if you are a good player, and you are focused because the goal of this objective is to win the game, you're still focused on the game. You're still focused on the goal. Yes, you are out, you're resting, maybe you're taking a little break, a breather, that's fine, but you're still focused on what's going on the court. And so I want you to take that image and think about what I'm about to talk about. Now, let's say in life, there's a door. And so this door is going to be your break. This door is going to be whenever you are subbing, you're resting. Something's happening where you need to take a breather. Now, what exactly is a door? So a door is going to be a swinging, sliding, some type of movable barrier that is used in between two conflicting areas. With a door, you can either enter a building or you can exit the building. However, you can't do both at the same time. Now, in life, there's going to be different types of doors that you're going to encounter. And these doors are on the other side of what we are going through. So just like when you're subbing out, when you're playing basketball, You're either out of the game or you're in the game. You can't do both. Same concept with the door. You're either going on this one side or you're going on this other side. You can't do both. And so that is why acceptance is really important, because number one, you need to accept that there are doors that you have to pass through. Now, here's the thing. You better accept that there are doors, and don't be that one person who's like, there's no door. What door? And you're just constantly going around, wandering around like the Israelites for 40 years. Because guess what? Whether you choose to ignore the door or whether you choose to accept the door, one thing is certain. You are still going to die. You can either open the door to exit or enter into a new realm, or you can just choose to be stuck in that same room or building, wandering around on the same hamster wheel, complaining and never changing. You are still going to die. Here's the thing. You can also choose to be the creator of your destiny, or you can choose to be the victim of your life. Regardless of which one you choose, you're still going to die. Here's the scary part about death. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know how you're going to die, but you will die. Knowing that you will die and knowing that you can die at any moment, would you rather be paralyzed by fear and ignorance because of your ego? Or would you rather be humble? Would you rather accept you can't control anything that happens to you, but you can control your response to it? Now, whenever you're faced with a decision, in chapter 2, the author, Gary Bishop, he teaches a really powerful question that you can ask yourself. And you can ask yourself, am I willing? For example, you may ask yourself, am I willing to brush my teeth for 3 to 5 minutes to keep my teeth clean from bacteria and make sure my heart is healthy? Now, this may seem kind of silly, but it's not. If you are willing to do that, I can safely assume that you see and you understand the importance of good dental hygiene. Now, here's the thing. Good dental hygiene is just beyond appearance. You can have a nice, pretty smile, and you can suffer from some severe enamel erosion and other types of dental problems. And some people fail to understand that plaque buildup in your teeth can also affect your heart. Now, you may be a person who has or who is currently experiencing some type of mental health issue. You might be depressed. You might be anxious. You might feel weird. And one way that you can recognize and understand someone who is going through a mental health situation, they stop taking care of themselves. Now, let's say that you're a person who hasn't brushed your teeth in 5 days. Maybe you haven't taken a shower. Maybe you haven't combed your hair. And for some reason, people act like that is just so unheard of. Let me tell you something. I haven't combed my hair in about a year. I'm actually going to shave it off within the next couple of weeks because I've been so depressed from when my best friend passed away. And I haven't really combed my hair the way how it needs to be. And so it's kind of tangled. And I realized, let me just start over. And so within the next couple of weeks, hopefully by the end of February, I'm going to shave off all of my hair. And a lot of people, well, I haven't really told anybody, but those who are close to me, some of them are like, yeah, you should do it. And some of them are like, no, you should not. My parents are the ones who say I shouldn't. Everybody else says I should. But you might be somebody who hasn't brushed your teeth. Just try brushing your teeth for like 2 minutes and just do it every day. You'll realize when you start brushing your teeth, that might be the one thing that actually changes your life and gets you into a good habit. As human beings, we are creatures of habit. And so when you repeatedly engage in activities, that will eventually become your norm and it will become your reality. And so if you are a person who is suffering from some type of mental health illness, brush your teeth for just 2 minutes, or try to wash your face, or try to get in the shower. Just try to do one small thing of self-care repeatedly just for 2 minutes and just do it every day. And sooner or later, you will get back into that habit. So just as much as we are wired to behave a certain way, we also are wired to where we can reprogram, we can update ourselves in a way that constantly improves the more we learn. Now, there's this quote from Niccolo Machiavelli that I love, and it says, "Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great." It's the decision, the readiness, the response, whatever you want to call it. When you are faced with a door, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to enjoy a life I love, despite that there will be things beyond my control? If you are, then you would boldly and positively assert your response, and you will say, I am willing. You don't have to scream it. I'm not a screamer, unless if I coach basketball. But you can just tell yourself, I am willing. Now, sometimes the door may not be open. Sometimes the door is shut, it's closed, and you're looking for the key, and you can't find the key anywhere. Now, remember, a door is going to be the passageway between two conflicting scenarios. One side, you have a certain event. On the other side, you have an equal and opposite event. Now, sometimes it's so easy to just say, okay, I'm going to do this. You open the door and you walk through into a new realm. Sometimes you may want to walk through the door, but you can't find the key and it's closed and you're pushing and you're kicking. I mean, you even try to do a flashbang and nothing happens. Now, do closed doors actually constitute that this is a bad thing? Of course not. Because if you live in a house or an apartment or anything, I would assume that you would agree closed doors sometimes are very important. Now, enjoying a life that you love, this does not mean that you're going to be a slave and you're going to constantly suffer and you're going to walk around and you're just going to have this miserable life. No. Enjoying your life just simply means you're going to enjoy life. Despite any circumstances, despite issues or challenges or obstacles, whatever you want to call them, despite them coming, you're still going to enjoy life. Because here's the reality. Events are going to happen. You're going to get sick. You're going to experience loss. You're going to experience hardship. You're going to suffer. Everybody goes through it. Whether you have $1 billion or whether you have $0, there are going to be challenges in your life. Are you willing to allow these inevitable circumstances dictate how you are going to live? Are you going to keep being a victim like most people in this world and keep going with the flow? Now, if you want to, and if you are willing to truly, and I mean truly, enjoy your life, then I want you to say this. I am unwilling to keep being a victim. I am unwilling to let things beyond my control change the way how I react. I am unwilling to continue living a life I do not enjoy. I am willing to start enjoying a life I love. As in everyday life, there are going to be doors that you will open and walk into, and there are also going to be some doors that are closed. Regardless of what happens, you are the one who decides whether you want to open those doors or whether you want to shut them. You are also the one who decides if you are willing to enjoy your life. If you are willing to enjoy a life that you love, then you also have to be willing and ready to decide whether you are going to open that door and walk through, or if you're going to close that door. You can make the decision and you can be willing to live, or you can spend the rest of your life victimizing yourself and engaging in self-sabotage. You can wander around and blame everybody else. Either way, you are still going to die. Are you willing to live a life where you are going to keep living paycheck to paycheck? You better not. In fact, you better boldly state, I am unwilling to continue to be broke. Broke is not fun. Broke sucks. Instead, let's change the perspective. Let's say, I am unwilling to take the easy way out and do what majority of the world's population continues to do. You can make the decision to end meaningless relationships. You can decide to no longer live a life where you were unsatisfied, where you were unmotivated, and where you were just simply existing. Your declaration of willingness or unwillingness, that is where you can discover your true self. And that is where you can also discover what you are passionate about. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Epictetus. I love this quote because it touches on the importance of gratitude. In life, there's going to be so many times that you want something that you don't have. Just because you don't have it now doesn't mean that you won't ever get it. But here's the thing. A lot of you guys need to learn how to have some gratitude. You guys need to learn how to say thank you sometimes. Stop focusing on things that are beyond your control. Stop blaming things beyond your control. Let's flip the script. Let's change our perspective. And let's stop blaming. Let's stop complaining. Let's stop whining. And let's stop feeling entitled. Show a little bit of gratitude. Show some humility. Say thank you. Embrace, and welcome this door, these obstacles. Because guess what? It helps you build a stronger foundation. You become more resilient. You're able to bounce back. Stop being so envious and jealous and unappreciative because your friends have things that you want and you don't have. Stop being so bitter and stop being so whiny and so always just complaining about everything. Be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful for the opportunities. Be grateful that you're even presented with an opportunity, and be grateful that you have the will to decide how you respond to this opportunity. When you start being truly honest with yourself and when you start deciding on what you are willing and unwilling to do, that is when you will realize how powerful you are. Once you're willing to do what it takes and whatever it takes, everything else becomes irrelevant. You're going to start looking at all of these circumstances as ways that you can grow, ways that you can prepare, you can develop, you can examine, and you can redefine your life exactly how you want it to be. In everything that you do, whether it's waking up at a certain time, whether you're eating certain foods, whether you're driving before who you talk to, just ask yourself, am I willing to blah, blah, blah? For example, am I willing to talk to this person who constantly puts me down? No, I am unwilling. Delete their number, block their contact, and move on. Stop allowing all of these negative people to suck all of this energy and drain from you. Here's my challenge to you. Whenever you are faced with a situation, I need you to ask yourself, am I willing? Whether you are willing or whether you are unwilling, the ultimate step is for you to decide and take action. When you decide to take action, that means you are willing to do whatever it takes to enjoy a life you love. Then, and only then, will you discover that innate and infinite source of unlimited potential that you possess. You have the power to develop and design the key elements, the details, and the features of exactly how you want your life to be. Your willingness, your determination, that is going to be the vehicle that you can use to design your life. You can design it to be a victim and let others outline it for you, or you can take control and take that back and become the victor who rewrites, narrates, and tells their own story. Now, here's a quote from Rocky, and I'm sure many of you guys have heard this, but I really want you to listen to this quote. It says, "Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are, It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you are worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you are not where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I love that quote because it's very inspiring. Because you are better than that. Go get what you're worth. Just be willing to take the hit and just keep pressing on. Keep moving forward. Consistency is what gets you the win. Are you willing to enjoy life more? It's up to you to decide. This was podcast episode 2, How to Enjoy Life, The Power of Will. I highlighted on the importance of deciding if you are willing to accomplish or attain a goal no matter what. Once you understand the power of willingness, you will begin to understand your own superpowers. Remember, I'm just here to help you understand one thing. You have exactly the tools you need to redefine your life and change it to be exactly how you want it to be. I am here to give you the tools that you can add to your toolbox so that you can improve your own system. You are the one who has to make that change once you accept and once you are willing to start living and enjoying a life that you love. I believe in you, bestie. You got this. Thanks for listening to A PhD Mama's Mindset. Feel free to subscribe to this series wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow me on Instagram at the PhD Mom Life or on my website, aphdmommy.com. Go and blaze a new world, Trailblazer. You got this.